Sahana bhavatu Sahano bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
So we saw yesterday that Janaka Maharaja, extremely sincere in his seeking of divinity, God, he prays to Ashtavakra as a guru, and with sincerity he asked just three questions, absolutely most important questions, to the point. Katham jnanam avapnoti, katham muktir bhavishyati, vairagyam cha katham praptam, etad bruhi mama prabho. Teach me, how do I attain liberation? How do I attain wisdom? And how do I attain dispassion, detachment? O Lord, Ashtavakra, please teach me. And Ashtavakra teaches. But before even he really starts teaching about the higher things, he puts a condition. He asks Janaka, Muktim ichasi chetat, if you are really seriously interested in your liberation, and you mean what you are asking, you're not just trying to ask some nice questions to impress me, but you really are asking what you really want, then these are the preconditions. These are the pre-qualifications. And he says, Vishayan Vishavatyaja, give up the pursuit of worldly pleasures like someone would give up poison. Instantly, now and here, there is no delay. Be so sincere, be so strong in your willingness to give up that you don't delay it by another second. When people say, give me a muhurta, I want to start building a new house, or I want to start a seva project, I want to start reading scriptures, I tell them, don't worry about muhurta, start here and now. This is the best time. When for doing wrong things, we don't look for muhurtams. We do it then and there. For right things, why do you need muhurtam? Do it now and here. So Ashtavakra is telling Janaka, do it now and here. What? Give up the pursuit of worldly things, worldly pleasures, worldly comforts, and all the worldly ideas like you'll give up poison instantly here and now. Second thing he says that after that, I told mind has to be detached, but then it has to be attached to something higher. Otherwise, by its nature, like gravity, it will go back to the lower things. So he says attached to good qualities. Shama, Arjava, Daya, Tosha, Satyam. 5 qualities he says. Shama, forgiveness, forbearance. Arjava, straightforwardness, integrity of thought, word, and action. Daya, unconditional compassion for all beings. Tosha, contented with whatever God has given us, we are happy with that. But we never stop putting efforts. We put efforts, but we don't expect outcomes as per our desires. Whatever comes is fine. And Satyam, be always truthful. True to yourself, true to others, true to God. And always think, speak, and act as God would do. Not from your individual ego, but from the ultimate Paramatman's point of view. And that is the first ask. Imagine if you want to apply to a university, you fill up an application, you have to attach some certificates with it. School certificates, other activities that you have done, other experience you have had. And then you apply for the university. So there is a pre-qualifications. Without that, they won't entertain you. So this is a university. Ashtavakra Gita is a university. It is not Bhagavad Gita. It is not some other shastras. It is straight university admission we are asking for. So Ashtavakra in return asks, do you have qualifications? If not, then get qualified first. What are the qualifications? Whatever he has asked to do, they'll take a lifetime. But I believe that in the last 5-6 years, you have practiced some of these or all of these to some extent. That is why at least we are going and trying to look into what is coming next in the university syllabus. So why I kept Ashtavakra and I'm teaching it much later than that time. Some people ask me, why you are not teaching Ashtavakra immediately? Videos were also there ready. We never released them. This whole content was ready, but we never released in the last 5 years because I said people are not ready. They are not qualified to hear Ashtavakra. But in last 5 years with Paravidya and lot of other spiritual efforts that we have put collectively and seva that we have done and learned many great truths, now there is some bit of qualification to understand and appreciate what is happening. This wouldn't have made any sense to you 5 years ago for most of us. So that is why now is the right time. So now Janaka is asking, Ashtavakra has replied, these two shlokas itself will take a lifetime or lifetimes to achieve. I do not know how many of you went back and forgave somebody whom you couldn't forgive so many years. If you have done that, good for you. It doesn't help me any which ways. It helps only you because you will understand what I am trying to tell. If you have committed to the cause of straightforwardness, integrity of thought, word, action, compassion, and so on and so forth, you will benefit from this. Otherwise, it will be falling on an empty, what you call a leaky pot. The more you pour, the more it leaks. Nothing will stay. So the effort will be wasted. The very first message Ashtavakra teaches after this is that once you are qualified, what is the first lesson in the university? Can you believe the lesson says you are not the body? All this while we thought we are the body. We have been taking care of our body, grooming it, decorating it, taking pictures, selfies, posting on Instagram, everywhere. Because we are celebrating ourselves as our bodies. That is the first thing Ashtavakra is breaking, the myth. He says you are not the body. That is how the first shloka is. Imagine. That's why I said Ashtavakra is not for everyone. But you already know because you have learned that you are not the body, mind, and you chant Nirvana Shatakam and things like that. So it's not a shock for you. But imagine somebody who has grown up in a Western world somewhere, who knows only one philosophy that there is only one life, this is it. So make the best of it, the YOLO generation. You only live once generation. For them, this shloka would be a ton of bricks. What? I am not the body? All the gym membership, all the clothing, new fashion brands, all the cosmetic changes I made, I spent on myself so much money to look good, to look young. It's billions of dollars worth business, personal grooming and cosmetics and so on and so forth. And you mean to say I'm not the body, so I wasted all that money, time and energy. Ashtavakra says yes. Imagine if really people believe that they are not the body, so many industries that are only depending on this body being the center will collapse. From plastic surgery to Botox to all the modeling, fashion brands, cosmetics, gyms, everything will just collapse. Because you are not the body, then why are you doing anything for it? That is the question. So the first shloka itself is like straight away opening 6. It says, न पृथ्वी न जलम न अग्निर् न वायुः द्यौ न वा भवान् येषां साक्षिणात्मानं चिद्रूपम viddhi muktaye. Sanskrit is simple. Those who know Sanskrit, they straight away understand. Na prithvi, not the earth. Na jalam, not water. Na agnihi, not fire. Na vayu, not air. Na dyau, this is space or sky, are you. Esham sakshinam atman. You are the witness to all these. Sakshina means witness. You're only a witness to all these. That is yourself. And what is the nature? Chit Rupam. You are consciousness embodied. You are the form of consciousness, the awareness which is aware of all these things, but you are none of these things. Knowing this, Viddhi Muktaye, be free. This is the shloka. Now, why these 5 elements have been brought in? Because we are all made of these 5 elements. What is that in us which is made of the 5 elements? The body. It is made of matter. Matter is made of the 5 elements. The science recognizes only 4, but we as Indians recognize the 5th element of space also. And in Taittiriya Upanishad, that the explanation comes, Tasmadva etasmad akasha sambhutaha. Akashad vayu, vayu agnihi, agnirapah, adbhya prithvi, prithivya aushadya, aushadibhyannam, like that it goes. He says, from that supreme self came the space, akasha. From space came air. From air came fire. From fire came water. From water came earth. From earth came all the vegetations. From vegetation came food. From food came human body. So this humanness or the body that we carry, which we identify ourselves with, is made of these five elements. So straight away Ashtavakra says, you are none of the five elements, which means you are not the body. You are a witness to this body and all that goes on in this. Then what about the mind, you'll say? Mind also is made of five elements. Tanmatras they are called, the subtle five elements. What are the subtle five elements? Akasha means space. Its quality is sound. Then air, its quality is touch. Water, its quality is taste. Fire, fire's quality is it burns, so it touch here. Then water is taste and earth is smell. So Akasha is just space, the sound. Vayu is sparsha. Fire is rupa, form. Water is taste. And earth is smell. So all the five senses of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are our subtle five elements which are within us, because the physical five elements translate into these subtle five experiences in us. We are able to hear, we are able to touch and feel, we are able to see things, we are able to taste things, and we are able to smell. So these are the things. The same thing is known as Karmendriyas and Gyanendriyas. Now Ashtavakra is not going to explain because he knows Janaka knows all these things. These are all basic things Janaka has already learned earlier, like in your Paravidya classes. So he's not explaining in detail. He's just telling symbolically that once you are not the five elements, you are not the body, you are not even the Karmendriyas, nor even the Gyanendriyas. We have five Karmendriyas, right? Karmendriyas means organs of action. What are the five organs of action? Vak, Pani, Padam, Chopastha, Payu, Upayuhu. Vak, Pani, Padam. Vak, tongue with which we speak. Pani, hands with which we work. Padam, feet with which we walk. Chopastha, Upayuhu. The organs of procreation and organs of excretion. With these five organs, we conduct ourselves, our daily activities. It's written Pancha Karmendriya. And Pancha Gyanendriya is these ones, which is the coming out of the five elements, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are the five Gyanendriyas. We are able to use these and do our daily work. So once you are not the five elements, you are none of these. This is what he's saying. Because we think we are this body because of which we taste, smell, touch, feel, see, hear, or we do all the activities of eating, walking, talking, working, procreating, excreting. So this is all we are, we think. But the moment he says you are none of the five elements, what Ashtavakra means is that anything that is related to these five elements in you, which is your organs of actions or organs of knowledge, none of this is you. Where else we have heard this? We chant every day, right? Nirvana Shatakam we chant. In that it comes, Shankaracharya says that, Navak Pani Padam Nachopastha Payu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Nacha Vyoma Bhumi Nacha Dhyana Netre, and goes on like that, right? The whole shlokas all are meant to say that you are none of these. So Ashtavakra is straight away saying that you are none of these. Janaka should not be shocked. Why? Because he must be knowing, he has heard many lectures before. Then what are you? If I am not all of these, I am not the body with which I experience the world, I am not the mind with which I think, emote, or feel, or understand, analyze things, then what am I? What's in me is me. And then the second line is saying, Sakshi Bhutam you are. Sakshinam Atmanam, it says. You are the witness to all these things. You are watching your own body, you are watching your own mind. That which is watching your body and mind is actually you, which is the nature of consciousness. Now, very small exercise is there. If you go to this Drigdrishya Viveka, which is of one Swami Vidyaranya, he was the second pontiff of Sringeri Sharada Math. We work with Sringeri Sharada Peetam. This was established by Adi Shankaracharya. The first one was, of course, Mandana Vishra, whom he put over there. The second one was this person, Vidyaranya Swami. And this Sringeri Math is special because in the last, 1,200 years, never that Math has been empty. There has always been a Guru seated there. Other religious institutions founded by Adi Shankaracharya had some discontinuity because of wars, invasions, and attacks. But Sringeri Sharada Math somehow has survived all that, and not even one day in last 1200 years, Chandramaulishwara Puja happens there. A Shivalinga is worshipped like we worshipped in the morning today. It's a sacred Monday morning of Ashadha Masa. This is very sacred. And 16 Mondays we are worshipping Shiva. So there it's worship every night. The Guru has to worship. And for last 1200 years it has never been stopped. The worship has never stopped. It's an amazing Peetham. So we work with them. So Vidyaranya Swami was the second one. So he has written a scripture called Drigadrishya Viveka. It's a very simple text, Drigadrishya Viveka. I think it is also mentioned on the page number 48. Let us do that small exercise to understand this concept that you are not the body and you are not the mind. This is a reference text, Drigadrishya Viveka. At 48 he says, Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik, Tad Drishyam Driktu Manasam, Drishya Dhivritta Shakshi, Drig Eva Natu Drishyate. What it says is that Rupam Drishyam, when the objects are the seen, eyes are the seer. Now I am seeing this mic. Mic is seen, my eyes are seer, seeing the object. Now when my eyes are seen, can I see my own eyes is the question you'll ask. No, but I know that my eyes exist, right? Who knows that my eyes exist? My mind knows, you will say. My mind is seeing. Suppose I close my eyes, do I still see the mic in my eye, in my mind? I do see. May not be physically like this, but I can still see it in my mind, right? That image is still existing. Now I have closed my eyes, then how am I able to see? Because they say when eyes become the object, the mind becomes the seer. Now let me tell you, are you aware that your mind is seeing that in your own self? We are aware. If you close your eyes and think, am I able to see the object? Yes, I am. What sees the object? My eyes see the object. What sees the eyes? My mind sees the eyes. But somebody is watching the mind in you. Take a minute. Just go through it again. Look at anything in front of you. Look at your book. Now close your eyes and imagine the book again in your own mind. Now, are you aware that your mind is observing the book inside itself? It is aware of that book or any object within itself. It is aware. Who knows that? You will say, my mind knows that. No, mind is now being observed. Mind is a bundle of thoughts. Now the thought is, there is an image of book in my head. That thought is being observed by somebody at this point in time. That something is the ultimate seer, the one who sees everything, the one who witnesses everything, is the logic of Drigadrishya Viveka. So you just keep moving inward, 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 layer by layer. You see the physical object, like the apple is mentioned, the eye is the seer. When the eyes are the object, mind is the seer. When the mind becomes the object, this Sakshi, this witness is there in us, an awareness and a certain power in us to be aware of things. That is real you, he says, because beyond that there is nobody else seeing it. It knows itself, it knows everything that exists in it. So that is the concept. It's a concept, very practical. You have to just practice it a little more. In one go you will not get it. But if you keep practicing, yes, I see things outside me, I see things inside me. I also know what is going on in my mind. But then who is that I which knows what is going on in the mind? You know your thoughts, right? Somehow a bad thought comes. You immediately get alert. Oh, this is a bad thought that is entered. No, thought means mind. Thought is equal to mind. Then who is watching the mind? Somebody is watching the mind. Somebody is aware. When you ask them, who is that? You will say, I. But you point it towards your body again. Because we are so deeply convinced that we are the body. Since we were born, we were identified with our body. That's why Madallasa, the great mother, sang lullabies to her children. 4 of them, 3 of them become Jivan Muktas because she sang to them Shuddhosi, Buddhosi, Niranjanosi, Samsara Maya Parivarjitosi. You are Shuddha, Buddha, Niranjana. You are pure, you are aware, and you are ever blissful. Satchitananda you are. Samsara Maya Parivarjitosi. This wrong identification with the body and the world, it's an illusion. You are beyond that. Madalasa will teach. So 3 of the kids who heard this lullaby, they all become Gyanis. The 4th one was, when born, king said, please queen, stop singing this song to the children, because then he will not be a Gyani. He'll become a Gyani, then he will not be a king. Who will run my kingdom? I need a heir for the kingdom. So he does not allow the Madalasa to sing the song to the 4th one. So fourth one does not become a jnani, he remains a king. But one day, long time later, when he's attacked by some enemy, he doesn't know how to defend himself. He seeks the help of three brothers who are living in the forest. They come and they have so much power that they defeat the enemy. He says, how is it possible? You are never trained in all the warfare. You are always the Brahmagyanis. You left quite early. They said, once you know that, you know everything. The divine drives you from there. Everything starts happening through you. Because you are not the doer anymore. You are not the body anymore. You are not the mind anymore. You are just a witness to whatever divine does through you. That idea they had. So he was surprised, but then he was convinced about the power of Brahmagyana. So that is what we are doing here. He says, you are none of the five elements, you are not the indriyas, you are not any of it, the mind, the thoughts, whichever is depending on the indriyas, none of this you are. You are the witness, you are the awareness that you are watching all these things. Bhagavan would give example. This is my kerchief. The kerchief is different from me. This is my body. My body is different from me. This is my mind or my thoughts. My mind and thoughts are different from me. And who am I? He will ask at the end. That I is, and he would answer, I am I. I am that witness consciousness who has no other definition. I is the definition. See, when we talk also, we start with the word I am so and so. Whether you are a man or a woman, you both use I. I is gender neutral. Because Atman's nature is gender neutral. God's nature is gender neutral. It is not man or female. One day I was having some argument, then I said, some people say God is he. Now this feminist jumped on them, saying that why God has to be he? Why can't it be she? I said, very well, God is she. Yesterday Buddha told, no, don't argue. No, tell properly whether it's he or she. Accept that God is she. I said, if I accept God is she, then you accept that God is he. Because God is neither he nor she. He is an energy. How can energy be a feminine or masculine? You may have a male socket, female socket, we call it all that. That are devices. But the electricity has no gender, no identification. Likewise, God has no identification. This witness consciousness, which is witnessing my mind and my eyes and the objects outside, is the same power which is witnessing the same things in you. Like the same electricity is lighting up all the bulbs, this mic, the fan, they're all energized by the same current, same power. But when it reaches the fan, it becomes breeze. When it reaches the mic, it becomes sound. When it reaches the bulbs, it becomes light. Like that, the same electricity which is running through this circuit is making all these devices come alive. Likewise, all our body, mind, our emotions, thoughts, actions are all animated by that energy which is consciousness, is the basic fundamental rule or understanding of our scriptures. Not many philosophies know this, don't think like that. At best, they will say there is a God up above. He somehow, the puppeteer, you are the puppets. They will give these kind of examples. But saying that he drives you from within, yantra rudha maya, Krishna says. He's seated inside, like the JCB is there, right? It looks like JCB is just doing things on its own. The cranes are doing things, but no, there is a operator sitting inside who is not seen. The equipment seems to be moving, but the operator is moving it, nobody knows that. Like that, our body, mind, everything seems to be working so well. But there is this operator within, that energy within which is animating it all. That is the concept. And that energy is not some dead energy, it is aware. See, electricity is not aware of itself. It does not have an understanding of itself. It is just a flow of electrons. And there is a potential difference, electrons flow from the higher to lower potential. In the process, a charge gets created, and that is electricity, we call it. That is not aware of itself. Electricity is not aware that I have become fan now or I have become wind now. Electricity is not aware that I have become sound now. Electricity is not aware that I have become light now. But this consciousness is aware that this is the body, its senses, it is feeling, tasting, smelling, touching. This is the mind which is feeling sad, happy, angry, depressed, anxious. It is aware. That is the nature of this energy which is driving us all. And it is the same energy. It doesn't need physical connections like internet. It just flows in the space. So we are all in that space of consciousness and it's flowing through all of us. If I'm able to speak something, you're able to hear, you're able to understand. It is that consciousness which is making your mind and body listen to me and understand what I'm saying. It's that consciousness. Now some people sleep off, then they don't hear anything, right? They'll say, what happened to the consciousness? What happens to electricity when I switch off the fan? It is there, but it doesn't express itself. Because fan has been switched off. Like that mind has been switched off, it's not able to express itself. When we go into deep sleep state in the night, we sleep, we don't even realize how long we have slept, where we have slept. When we wake up, we are shocked. We think just 10 minutes passed, you have slept the whole night. But when you wake up, are you aware that you are existing? You are aware. But when you are deep sleep, you are not aware. Why? Switch was off. Electricity is there. Mic is there. But suppose, Pradeep, there are switches of the mic. How much ever I speak, you can't hear. Does it mean electricity was not there? No, electricity is very much there. Does it mean I am not speaking? No, I am very much speaking. Does it mean that you are not listening? No, you are very much wanting to listen. But because this was off, the electricity was not able to express itself. Likewise, when our mind is distracted, our mind is not focused, then God, that consciousness, is not able to express itself completely through us. That's why all these sadhana practices, run away from the bad company, run away from the worldly pleasures, practice straightforwardness, compassion, all these to get our mind in order. So that we are able to see beyond it and see the self means experience the presence of self. Actually, all the time we are experiencing the self. If somebody says, I don't experience the self, Shankaracharya says it's like somebody who uses his tongue to say, I do not have a tongue. How can you say it then if you do not have a tongue? If you say consciousness is not existing, how are you even aware that you are speaking this? The very fact that you are able to speak something is because you have that consciousness within you, which is driving you, energizing you, animating you, doing everything through you. And Sri Krishna identifies himself with that. He says, as if I am the operator within a vehicle, like the driver inside the car. Not seen, car seems to be moving on its own, but there is a driver. Like that, Sri Krishna says, I am running this machine of Maya sitting inside. That is the idea of consciousness. So this is what first opening shloka is, the ultimate philosophy of Sanatana Dharma. But he says to experience this, that you are the ultimate consciousness and nothing less than that. And once you know that, what happens to you? You ask just now, how do I become free? This is how you become free, he says. Once you know you're not the body, you're not attached to the senses, you're not attached to the emotions, you're free. What binds us to this world, you tell me? What binds us to this world? This idea of preserving and protecting our body binds us to the world. Why are we even working? To feed this body, to make it comfortable, to shelter it, to keep it healthy, to make it look good, beautiful. All the effort is that. Okay, if you're not so attached to the body, then it's about mind. I want to feel joy, I want to be happy, I want to be excited, I want to be feeling good. For that sake we work. And that's why we do whatever we do. Now, if you're not attached to both of these ideas, whatever comes, it's okay. Food comes, enough to sustain the body is enough. There's no desire in it. I want to eat this only. I will eat 5-star cuisine only. I will. No, mentally also you're not particular. Yes, I will keep doing what needs to be done. Whatever comes by the way of, return on whatever I've done, I will accept it without a questioning. Contentment. This is all that Ashtavakra is telling you, practice first to understand what I'm saying. You don't know alphabet, you want to read a book, not possible. You don't know swaras, you want to sing a raga, not possible. You have not practiced some basics like running away from sense and sense objects and attaching yourself to greater idea of Kshama, Arjava, Daya, Tosha, Satyam. How are you going to understand this? You are asking, I want mukti, I want dispassion, I want this, that. And then he straight away tells, the only truth of this dharma is you are the consciousness, witness consciousness, who witnesses the body and the mind and everything that goes on. You are neither the body nor the mind. But we identify ourselves with that. You are that ultimately. That is what Tattvamasi Shetaketu you told yesterday. When Shetaketu comes to his father and Uddalaka, after 12 years of education, father asks, what have you learnt? He starts rattling out all his A, B, C, D, F, G, H. Father says, enough, enough, enough. Have you learnt about self, Brahman, the Atman, the consciousness, the witness? He says, what's that? He said, you didn't learn anything about that, you have learned nothing. He said, Father, then teach me. He says, bring a pot of water, get a handful of salt, put it in the water and dissolve it. So though he dissolves it, he says, where is the salt? He says, it is in the pot, but it is not seen. He says, no, because it has dissolved into the pot. He says, but how do you know that there is salt in this water? He said, by tasting it. Okay, taste it. He takes some water from the pot, tastes it. He says, yes, it is salty. Now he says, takes a drop from the bottom of the pot. He takes from the bottom of the pot, tastes it. Is it salty? He said, yes. Now salt is not seen, but its taste is experienced. Likewise, this consciousness is not seen, but its presence is experienced. And that experience is what Janaka is trying to teach, Ashtavakra is trying to teach Janaka, how to see that. What is seen is the body, what is seen is the water. Let us say pot is the body, water is the mind, for symbolism's sake. Atman, that consciousness, is the salt that has got disappeared into the water. So you are seeing the pot of earthen pot, you are seeing the water in it, but you are not seeing the salt, so you declare there is no salt. But our Ashtavakra say your methodology is wrong. You have to use the right instrument to understand it. By seeing, you won't know it is salty. You are tasting, you will know it is salty. So put a drop on your tongue and you know salt exists. Like that, how do we know that we are that consciousness? Because we are aware. We are aware of our body, we are aware of our mind, we are aware of all your thoughts. Like the electricity flowing in all these gadgets, our consciousness is flowing in all our senses, mind, and every action of our body and mind. Because of that, we are able to behave, act, do whatever. So that is the idea. This is the very first sloka. I cannot take more than that today. We have another small program. But I want you to contemplate on this. Shrotavyam, mantavyam, nididhasitavyam. Listen, contemplate, and practice. Now, what is the practice for tomorrow? Yesterday's practice was forgive somebody. I know you all half forgiven out of pressure. Still, it's not fully forgiven because somewhere deep down it is there. But now Swami told one most the difficult person you should forgive and then only come to the next class. And I hope you have tried to forgive. I'm not sure you are fully forgiven. It's from uprooted, as I mentioned. From the root you have removed it, I do not know. You would know within yourself when you have no malice, no hatred. I'm not saying that you have forgiven me, go jump on him, hug him, embrace him. And not by saying that. Don't overdo it. Become neutral. No more emotion about it, neither positive nor negative. That is forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean you become overtly loving. Not required. Forgiveness means there is no more negative in you. Need not be some positive also, need not be there. But it's neutral. You are neutral. You are open to the idea that tomorrow you come across the same person or situation, you will deal with it neutrally. That much, if you have achieved something. But if you have not achieved that much, then as I said, none of these classes are going to make any sense to you. Because you couldn't follow the very first instruction of the teacher. Now, giving up worldly pleasures, giving all that is going to take a lot of time. That's why I gave you one exercise. Forgive somebody whom you could not forgive till date and come so that you will enjoy the text better. The next one, as I said, after you have done the first part, first shloka, then only you come to the third shloka. Second shloka, then you come to third shloka. Third shloka says what? You are that consciousness, knowing that you will become free. Because Janaka asked, how do I become free? He says, knowing that alone you will become free. Going beyond your body, mind, and everything else that you think you are at this point in time, and knowing that you are the consciousness and establishing yourself, identifying yourself with that, is the only way you will become free. There is no other way to become free. Nanya panta enaya vidyate. There is no other way. That's the only way. If I had 2-3 options, we could have taken. Suppose you want to go to Bangalore, you had a taxi option, bus option, train option, or your personal vehicle option. You could have taken any. But there is no option. Sanatana Dharma is very clear. Don't fool around. Somebody says, I'll give you some mantra, you will achieve this. Siddhi, you will achieve that. You hang upside down. None of this works. Ashtavakra. That is why I said, don't get confused. Oh, it means dhyana, meditation won't work. No, if it is leading you towards this, it works. With karma, seva won't work. If it is leading you towards this, it will work. Bhakti to God, idols and photos won't work. It will work if it's leading you towards this. If it's leading elsewhere, then it's not going to work. Adi Shankaracharya summarizes very Karmani chitta shuddhyartham ekagrartham upasana mokshartham brahma vidyanam iti Vedanta Dindima, he says. Karma marga is required, actions are required. Why? To purify oneself. My mind is so clouded and cluttered. Why? I, me, mine is going on. Removing all that clutter requires us to do selfless service. That is Karma Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, to develop focus, concentration of mind. Because when you are focused on a deity, when you are devoted to somebody, your whole mind thinks of only that. Then all the unnecessary thoughts don't enter your head. Which is very much necessary to know the consciousness. Mind should be pure and that is uncluttered. So too, mind should be focused to recognize the presence of self. These two, karma and bhakti, give you that, but they don't take you beyond this. For moksha, which is what we are asking, mukti, freedom, Brahma Vidya alone is needed. Brahma Vidya means knowing the Brahma, knowing the self, knowing that consciousness which is within ourselves. So, sounds very simple. Yes, I know that I am aware of everything because awareness is what it is. But have you gotten rid of your identification with the body and mind? No. When you say, I am aware that my consciousness is there, you are still identifying yourself with the body and then saying this statement. So, you are not fully aware, you are just theoretically saying it. So it will take a while, That's why they say just contemplate, meditate, meditate, meditate. It will reveal itself. So people take a mantra, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, and keep chanting it. Because they don't want to identify themselves with the body. Why sannyasis change their names, the birth names, they change it to some Ananda or something like that, right? Or some Saraswati, somebody. Why? Because they don't want to identify themselves with their birth date and birth name and birth body and birth parents. This is one way of stepping away from the identification. But then in the world we have to live, we need to write our names on our notebooks, passbooks, passports. Otherwise, how will we function? Sannyasi is okay, runs away to Himalayas. We have to function. Then it means we have to develop the ability to distinguish the two and associate or identify with the Atman, whereas don't associate with the body mind. Next sloka will tell us that. How do we attain this? How do we believe that we are not these senses and elements and all that, but we are that self-consciousness? The next sloka is going to tell, which we will take up tomorrow. Today's exercise is you go back, spend some few minutes with yourself, either in the evening or morning or wherever, doing this Drigadrishya Viveka. I see the thing, but what sees it? My eyes see it. Now I close my eyes, I still see the things. My eyes are this object, my mind is seeing my eyes. But in my mind, this idea that I'm seeing is also being witnessed by something. That something is me. That's my true nature, because beyond that nothing else exists. Practice this. Now, whenever you see anybody or doing anything, just try to quickly go one step behind, and then establish in that consciousness thing and see everything from that consciousness point of view. I am seeing, but who is seeing? Is the body seeing? No, eyes are seeing. Is the eye seeing or mind seeing? No, mind is seeing. But who is seeing the mind? Atman is seeing. So Atman is seeing, the mind is seeing, the eyes is seeing the object. That distancing you practice today. Let us see how much you have achieved by tomorrow. If you are really achieved by tomorrow, you will know it. Have you eaten enough? Who knows? You know. Is your hunger satisfied? Who knows? You know. Likewise, have you practiced enough? Have you understood that? Yes, then you will know it. And what is the effect of knowing it? You should feel free. Mukti should happen to you. And if it still not happen, it means you have not fully, completely understood it. Some part you have understood. Theoretically, intellectually you have understood. But it is good beginning, but slowly you have to practice. The more you practice and you establish witness consciousness, you can see things as something external to you, not you. Something away from you, external to you. That is the feeling you will start. And then this freedom, that distance which comes between that and this, that cushions you against all these emotions and all other things. So you don't get touched by it. Like if you are well cushioned, sports meet, you wear that knee caps. The cushion, you fall but doesn't hurt you. So your knees are free from hurt. You still fall, but it doesn't hurt you anymore. So you still live in the world doesn't affect you anymore. Why? Because this gap has suddenly come between you and the world, the real you and the false you. And that is what helps you to deal with the world. You are ever engaged, but you are ever free. Because this cushioning that comes in between, this vacuum that comes in between, the air gap that comes in between, it cushions you, protects you from all the vicissitudes of the world, which is the mind, its thoughts, emotions, and body and its desires for pleasure. Everything gets distanced from you. And even if you're engaged, you see it as somebody from the outside. It's like somebody puts on a costume of a king and acts in the play. He knows very well that while right now he is the king on the stage, he is not the real king. With one joke, I will stop. There was a king. There was a program in Puttaparthi. Bhagwan told me the story in some Sai Vrindavan session. He told there was two groups were there. In villages, there have drama troops, that was the only entertainment in those days. So they will come with Ramayana story, Mahabharata story, and two troops were performing in that Puttaparthi village. So one troop was performing on Ramayana. The other troop was performing on Mahabharata. But unfortunately, both the programs were almost at the same time happening in two separate areas. Now, in those days, women were not allowed to go onto the stage and act, especially in our traditional dramas, Harikathas, Burrakathas, it is not allowed even today. Men only dress up, even in what you call Yakshagana. Men only dress up as women and they act. So there'll be some men who are very good at acting, like Sita or whatever, Draupadi. So they will be given the chance. They are the standard actors in all dramas. What happened that day? Draupadi fell sick. In the sense, the man who was acted as Draupadi fell sick. He had a, Swami says he has a stomach problem, motion, loose motions. So he said, I can't come today for the drama. So that troupe got worried. Now, how are we going to perform? And the only person who performs the women's role very well was the other troupe person who was performing Sita that night. So they went to that lady Sita who was acting and told, see, once you finish your Sita's role, come running, because small village, and come to our stage and please perform Draupadi. Please help us, rescue us. Today is a difficult day for us. So that man agrees, okay, once I finish Sita, I'll come and perform Draupadi. So then what happens, once his Sita part gets over, he runs, changes and comes to Draupadi, stage Draupadi. But that time that Chiraharana scene is going on. The Dushasana is disrobing Draupadi, pulling her sari. So what happened, the Sita, the man Sita changes over, comes to stage on Draupadi, and then when Dushasana catches hold of the sari and pulls, he gives 2 slaps. Why are you doing this to me? Dushasana is at its wits end. This is what I am supposed to do. Because he is still not come out of the Sita Bhava. He forgot that he is now Draupadi and not Sita. So slaps Dushasana only. So the idea is that wrong identification. Wrong identification is the reason for this confusion. We are all identifying ourselves with the body. We forget who we are within this costume of the body, within the makeup of the mind. There is this real actor. That if we forget, then we will keep slapping each other like this, forgetting our roles. So remember who you are and then act in the world. If you forget who you are and then start acting, Sita will get confused with Draupadi's role, Draupadi will get confused with Sita's role, there will be a chaotic drama. Which is the reason for all the chaos in the world, because we are all forgotten who we truly are, and we believe we are this body and the mind and the positions and titles and authority that comes with it, and that's how we are fighting each other. And this whole beautiful cosmic drama is in a mess. So the only solution is realize who you are so that you will act correctly. You will just do the role without getting involved or attached or confused about it. So that is the story. Till then you continue to practice Drigadrishya Viveka, object and the seer Viveka, right? So now you do that, today you practice that, and also check whether you have really forgiven the person whom you are supposed to forgive. Both you check and come tomorrow.